Welcome back. In the previous videos, we have been working with the first two spheres. With Kalapatar, we practice staying with ourselves when the body's survival instincts and automatic reactions become strong. With Yao, we practiced observing the mind without becoming lost in its endless activity. Today we move into the third sphere, the one connected to desire, craving, and the deep feeling that something is missing. This is a sphere that affects almost everyone. It is the part inside us that constantly looks outside for completion. It looks for the right relationship, the right amount of money, the right body, the right recognition, the next experience or the next achievement, believing that once we get it, we will finally feel whole. Most people live identified with this feeling of lack. They believe that the emptiness they feel is proof that they are incomplete. They believe that if they just get what they want, the feeling will go away. But this is not true. You can feel desire. You can feel the ache of wanting. You can feel that something is missing and still remain yourself. This is what we are going to practice today. Inside every human being lives another protective pattern. We can call it Cain, the mask of lack and desire. This mask lives in the emotional and energetic center of wanting. It is not evil. It developed as a way to motivate us to seek connection, nourishment, pleasure, and safety in the world. However, over time, this pattern became distorted and began to convince us that we are fundamentally incomplete without something external. When this mask is active, it speaks in a very convincing voice. I will be happy when I have. I will feel enough when someone loves me. If I just get this, then I will finally feel at peace. Something is missing in me, and I need to find it outside. When this mask takes over, you can feel a constant, subtle, or sometimes very strong restlessness. Even when things are going well, there is a background feeling that something more is needed. The mind and emotions keep scanning the environment for what could fill the emptiness. But here is the essential truth. This mask lives inside you. It is a pattern of seeking that became very strong. And because it lives inside you, you are the only one who can set it free. Let's practice something together. Look outside for a moment. Notice something that is moving. Perhaps the clouds in the sky, the leaves on a tree moving with the wind, or even the sound of traffic or birds. Can you see it or hear it? Yes. Now notice you are aware of that movement, but you are not becoming the clouds or the sound. There is a clear space between you and what you are perceiving. Now bring your attention inside. Notice if there is any feeling of desire, craving, or not enough present in you right now. Maybe it is subtle, maybe it is strong, maybe it is a longing for something specific, or just a general sense of emptiness. Can you feel it? Yes. Do you have to become that feeling of lack? Do you have to believe that because you feel it, you are incomplete? No. You can feel the ache of wanting and still remain you. There is a space between you and the feeling of lack. That space is your sky. Every time this mask of lack and desire activates, two moments appear. Moment one is automatic. The feeling of I need something or something is missing arises. The body may feel restless, the chest may feel empty, or the mind may start scanning for solutions, distractions, or things to acquire. You don't choose this, it simply happens. This is the nervous system and emotional system trying to resolve the discomfort of perceived lack. Moment two is the sacred pause. It appears when you notice, even for a brief moment, something is happening. The feeling of lack or strong desire arises. You can use the practice of A.S.T with this
in that tiny space. Your awareness returns, and in that awareness,
the first step is to gently acknowledge what is happening without immediately trying to fix or escape. Place one hand on your heart or belly and say softly, I'm feeling this sense of lack right now.
Yourself.
You don't have to like
the feeling of
You don't have to pretend it isn't there. Present. You simply recognize the truth of the moments. Stay. Now comes the most important decision. Instead of immediately reaching for something external, you choose, I am staying with myself. Even while the feeling of emptiness or desire is present, you decide not to leave yourself in order to escape it. You can say internally, I stay with me. I do not abandon myself because I feel this lacked truth. Now you connect with what is actually true. I can feel this emptiness, and I am still whole. This desire is moving through me, but it does not define me. The sky remains even when I want something. This is how you begin to break the pattern of seeking outside yourself for completion. When you begin to practice staying with the feeling of lack instead of immediately trying to fill it, something very important starts to shift. You stop being so controlled by desire. You begin to notice the difference between a genuine, healthy desire that comes from inspiration and aliveness, and a compulsive craving that is trying to numb or escape an inner emptiness, wanting something because it would genuinely enrich your life, and wanting something because you believe it will finally make you feel enough. The natural movement of desire in the body, and the mental story that says, I am incomplete without this. You stop being at the mercy of the constant feeling that something is missing, and this changes everything. Because when you can stay with yourself, even when you feel lack or strong desire, you become much more capable of making conscious choices instead of reacting from emptiness. You become less likely to enter relationships, jobs, or situations from a place of neediness. You become more able to enjoy what you have without constantly needing more. You stop being a slave to the feeling of not enough. In ancient understanding, this pattern of constant seeking and the illusion of lack was seen as one of the main ways the soul remains trapped in cycles of dissatisfaction and return. The feeling that I am incomplete keeps the soul looking outward for salvation, whether through experiences, people, possessions, or achievements, instead of remembering the wholeness that already exists within. Cain, as this mask, represents the deep inner belief in lack and the compulsive drive to fill it from the outside. This mask became very strong because it genuinely believed that if it stopped seeking, you would be left empty forever. It was trying to protect you from feeling the pain of perceived incompleteness. When you consistently show this part of you that you can stay present even when desire or emptiness arises. When you show it that you will not abandon yourself in order to escape the feeling. This mask begins to relax. It stops needing to push you so hard toward the next thing. It stops needing to convince you that you are broken without something external. It stops needing to keep you in a state of quiet dissatisfaction. And slowly, your relationship with desire changes. You begin to feel desire without being possessed by it. You begin to want things without believing that getting them will complete you. You begin to enjoy life more fully because you are no longer running from an inner sense of lack. There is something even deeper here. For a very long time, humanity was told that we are incomplete, that we are born in sin or lack, and that we need to keep seeking, achieving, or suffering in order to one day become whole. This was a trap. The only real way to step out of the cycle is not to finally get everything you want. It is to learn to stay with yourself even when the feeling of lack is present. When you choose to stay with yourself instead of abandoning yourself in order to fill the emptiness, you are choosing freedom. The power has always been what you choose. Every time you choose to feel desire, emptiness without leaving yourself, you are weakening the grip of this fear. Every time you return to the sky while the mask of lack is speaking, you are choosing not to feed the loop that keeps the soul seeking outside for what can only be found within. This is only the third sphere, but the foundation is becoming clearer. Liberation does not come from finally getting what you want. It comes from learning to stay present with yourself even when wanting is strong. If you want to understand this method more deeply, the book Raising from the I Am is available for free here on YouTube.
If something inside you is remembering, the next step is waiting. My free audiobook, Raising from the I Am, is not just about parenting. It's about the child inside every one of us who still longs to be seen, held, and loved. Click the next video, and let's continue learning how to stay with ourselves.